What's up, all you mentees? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, and join me today as I talk about the top 10, or my top 10, must-buys, essential buys, or recommended buys for the month of April of 2021. Let's do this. And welcome back, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Check out our Patreon and our spread shop where you can get stickers and t-shirts. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got 10 books, and I always limit myself to 10, and because we all need limitations, right? Otherwise, I'd be suggesting like 30 books to get. So, kicking it off is the week of April 7th. We are going to be talking about Usagi Yojimbo, Origins, Volume 1, Samurai. Of course, I'm recommending this for people that have never read it, for people that don't like black and white books, because I know there are people that don't like black and white books. That's why they can't get into manga. Well, that and the right to left format. But still, there are people that just can't read comics in black and white, I've been told, and I completely understand. So this is the colorized version of the classic 1987 stories, the ones that have been reprinted by Fantagraphics. When I mentioned in my previous video that Fantagraphics owns the rights to the black and white stuff from the first 7 volumes, and then Dark Horse owns everything afterwards, and then IDW is recoloring those first story arcs. So the Fantagraphic stuff, they're going in chronological order. They're gonna be in color, and this collects the first 7 issues because they're doing it monthly. They're releasing them every month. So it is the Samurai storyline, and it in color for the first time, and it also has Kappa and A Quiet Place. Not sure exactly. I'm pretty sure the turtles are going to show up eventually in color, so that's going to be really cool. The week of April 14th, I'm recommending Batman: A Death in the Family. Of course, I'm recommending that's an important part of Batman's history. It was unique in a way that the readers for the first time felt like we had a voice. And so to take you back to when I was in the 5th grade, my friends and I were talking about, we had a choice whether Robin, at the time, Jason Todd, got to live or die. By calling a 900 number, 75 cents, we voted for either he lives or dies. Spoilers, Uncanny Omar voted that he die. I could not stand that kid. But it didn't matter, right? Anyway, Death in the Family also includes Lonely Place of Dying, which is a phenomenal story. It introduces us to Tim Drake, and it's a reunion of Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne. If you've not read it, do yourself a favor, read that book. Blade of the Immortal, Deluxe Edition, Volume 3. And damn, I love that book. I love that series. And it's one of my top 10 favorite manga of all time. I know I've done a top 20 list, and this is easier for people that don't like manga because they can't read right to left. This is written, or the way that it's printed here in America is left to right. So traditional Western style of comic book storytelling. Spider-Man by Roger Stern Omnibus. My favorite Spider-Man story. I think you all could tell I was really excited when I got to do the advance overview of it. Of course I'm recommending this. Hobgoblin Saga, the Juggernaut, the kid who collected Spider-Man. For that story alone, it is completely worth it. Artwork by John Romita Jr., and that's before he got his big blocky style. So it's the style that he kind of carried over into Uncanny X-Men. But of course, I'm recommending that, as well as Thunderbolts Omnibus Volume 1. 100% recommending that series. If you know nothing about Thunderbolts, you're in for a damn treat. If you know the twist in Thunderbolts, even then, like, you're still in it. You don't know who to trust. There's a character that I can't even talk about without spoiling, but I was talking to a friend of mine about why I like this specific character, because the whole time as I was reading this book, because keep in mind, I wasn't reading comics when these books were coming out. I had stopped reading comics until Grant Morrison's New X-Men. So this came out between Onslaught and Grant Morrison's New X-Men, and I missed out on it. And then when I went back, my friend Shaka, he actually gave me a bunch of comic books, like boxes. He's like, you need to catch up. And this was one of the runs that he gave me. But anyway, there was a character in here that I kept going, man, I like this character. No, I don't. Look, this chick is crazy. No, she's not. She's playing everybody. No, she really is crazy. That kind of thinking, that kind of twist and turns is what I loved about this book, and that's just one character. And you do fall in love with a couple of other characters. You're like, oh man, I hope nothing bad happens to them. Flashpoint, 10th Anniversary Omnibus. Holy crap, this thing is huge. If you wanted to know anything about Flashpoint, this is the way to go. I mean, collecting the 5-issue miniseries, Booster Gold 44 through 47. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I've done an the solicitations of this book before. But just every single miniseries that's included in here. This book is 1,512 pages. It's a huge book. And yes, of course I'm recommending it. And I knew it was coming, and I even called it a couple years ago, and I'm like, they're going to put a damn 10th anniversary sticker on, or label on this thing. Sure enough. They did. Alright. All new Wolverine by Tom Taylor. Absolutely. Yes, I'm recommending this. This is the series. You know, X-23 was it's an interesting story because she was created for the cartoon, for the X-Men Evolution cartoon by Colin Yost. They brought her over into comics in the pages of NYX, Joe Quesada, and she's a different character then than she is in the X-23 miniseries. Eventually, she went over to Uncanny X-Men, and then X-Force by Colin Yost, and then Avengers Academy. But, you know, it was a character that I was like, oh, she's a clone of Wolverine. She's okay. And X-23, the miniseries, actually, it gave her more of a character. But it wasn't until this series that I was like, holy crap, I really like Laura. And I'm okay with her taking over, you know, my favorite character's code name. And he introduced the character, this is Tom Taylor, by the way, introduced the character of Honey Badger, and then made the Ken likable. I hated that character, but actually made him a likable character. Collecting all 35 issues of this wonderful series, the annual, and then the Generations one-shot. Yes, 100% get this if you've not read it. If you're at all curious about this. Even if you're like, ugh, man, a female Wolverine, it's really good. I'm serious. This is coming from a guy that's loved Wolverine for 35 plus years. JLA, Tower of Babel, Deluxe Edition. Hell yeah. Missing those orphaned issues are collected in here in deluxe hardcover format, so it's the same height as the Omnibus. 100% get that. Yes. And you've got one of my top 3 favorite Justice League stories in there. Absolutely. And we have Barry Windsor-Smith's Monster. Of course I have to. 35 years in the freaking making, and it's finally coming out in hardcover format. Barry Windsor-Smith, one of the greatest artists to have ever penciled comics. Like, you know, everything he touches was gold. And for this story that was originally, I think the way it went, it was supposed to be a Hulk story by Bill Mantlo. Something happened, and then they wanted to make it into a graphic novel for Marvel. Something happened, and then eventually the story got shelved, and then he came back to it, revisited it a couple times. So here it's finally coming out. Hell yes. Of course I'm recommending that. And last is, I want to have some fun. I love comic books for just the different, deep stories or artwork are what makes me read these books. So Street Fighter V, Volume 1, hardcover edition. Hell yes. Champions Rising all day, every day. Yes. I read comics to have some fun sometimes. And this is one of the, I know what I'm getting into. It's a comic that's based on a video game. Of course I do. It's not War and Peace. It's freaking Street Fighter. I'm going to see a bunch of dudes and chicks fighting each other. That's all I want. And it's a palate cleanser from reading some Silver Age stuff or rereading even some X-Men stuff. I love Chris Claremont. But man, that man was trying to win some kind of award towards his end of his time on X-Men. So that's it. That's my list. That, as they say, is that. When these books come out, check out our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. Now, if you're limited to top 10, what would your top 10 be for the month of April? I always like to limit myself. It's a lot more fun because you start thinking like, oh, I can't leave that out. I gotta go back and put that in. How the hell how am I gonna sneak Street Fighter V in here? It's questions like that you you answer when you're limiting yourself to 10. But again, let me know in those comments down below what you're excited about. Do you agree with my list? If you don't, I'm okay with that. You know, difference of opinion. It's wonderful. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, ring that bell for notifications, check out our spread shop and our Patreon. Amazing, great ways to support the channel. Much love to all of you all. Please stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow, or probably later today if I release another video. I'm crazy like that.